the man for you.
It's 1:36 right here in the studios of Freedom FM. It's time for Hot Topics. It's a Tuesday afternoon, so we know what happens on Tuesday afternoons.
Only the hottest topics.
Yes, the hottest of the hottest. And, Nubian is here.
Correct. And we have a special guest today. Last week, we had a very interesting show. And this week, we promise you that we'll have an even more interesting show today because we have a special guest.
Yes.
We don't bring in, we guest them. So we have a special guest today in Miss Natasha Daniel, the latest and the newest candidate for the People's Action Movement in constituency number 8. So without further ado, Miss Daniel.
Thank you, Nubian.
You could bring it a little closer to you so you don't have to put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm good, Jamie?
Yes, you're good.
Good. This is my first time in a studio. So I'm going to tell you what Adele said, to go easy on her. So go easy on me today until I get accustomed. So I want to thank Nubian for bringing me here and asking me to join him. I want to thank Miss McPhail for having me as well, my good teaching colleague. Right. Still my friend. Yes.
We worked in government headquarters together as well.
Yes, and government headquarters together. So we've been there.
Yes.
Right? And I want to thank my listening audience. Also, I want to thank the constituency of number 8 for entrusting their belief and hope in me as their candidate.
Right.
I would also like to acknowledge Sir Dr. Candy Simmons for his unmatched service to the country and for being such a great supporter for this campaign. So thank you for having me once again. Thank you.
Right.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I remember when the notice came out and people started to speculate about who you are and your picture came out. I was like, somebody asked me what I thought. I said, I have no bad thoughts at all, because you're somebody that I know. You're somebody I know to be a people person, and you're somebody I know who truly cares, right? And that is not a political endorsement for those of you who like to go and run with things.
Right.
But this is, we're speaking about your personality and what you're bringing to the table. So I think it's only fitting for us to start with what motivated you to because I said this on Groundings last week. I never saw you as a politician.
I
know. Some guy said, I think she was training for this all her life, and I'm like, really? Right. I never saw that.
Yeah, I know. To be honest, neither have I. But I think coming up to the 2022 elections, and people were approaching me and said, Tasha, you need to go. You need to represent the people. We want someone like you. And I was like, no, I'm not ready, because yes, I've had leadership role and in school and in church, etc. But a politician, I always see politicians as being bad, wickedness in high places.
Yes.
And so I was like, Tasha, you're not wicked. And then my cousin was like, you need to stay in ministry in terms of stay on the pulpit, because over here is for bad people. But then...
And it's amazing that that's how people look at it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what it's perceived as.
So looking, listening to the people, and they're coming, with their, telling me their stories, and they're motivating me, and they're saying, listen, we see a good leader in you. We want someone like you to represent us. And so I said, okay, let me sleep on it and let me inquire of the Lord.
So you inquired of the Lord?
Yes,
and what did the Lord say?
Yes.
So
I decided, you know what, Tasha, someone has to do it. And if they have that confidence in you, have the confidence too that you could represent them and represent them well. So I
because that
took
is
the finish line, and I'm like, okay, I have to take that finish line. I'm going to start it and finish it.
Because, you started it off correctly. What we perceive politicians as politicians and politics. And most of the times, politicians would say whatever they need to say to get into office. And by the time they get into office, all what was said, all what was promised, just get thrown out the door. You know, nobody don't stick to, well, I promise you that I'm going to deal with housing, or I promise you that I'm going to deal with agriculture, or I promise you that I'm going to deal with young people and giving young people opportunities, whatever that may mean, because giving opportunities to people is a broad blanket statement, and we don't get into the nitty-gritty of it. Where, listen, this is what I'm going to do specifically. And so we're going to give opportunities to the youth, and opportunities to the dog, and opportunities to the cat, and opportunities to young people, and opportunities to the elderly, and opportunities to everybody. And by the time they get in, none of it comes to fruition, or very little of it comes to fruition.
Because, you know, in some cases, people are just making promises, but they have no idea what it entails, right?
Correct.
So I come and I tell you all the nice things. I tell you all what I plan, what I think you want to hear from me. But at the end of the day, I don't know how to do it because I never served people.
And if you look at it,
I have no track record of service.
correct. And a lot of the people that we encounter are business owners. And so we are telling them we're going to help strengthen the business, and we have never run a business. We have never dealt with the sacrifices that have to be made as a small business owner. But I come in and I'm telling you, you're not going to strengthen your business, and I'm going to strengthen your family, and I'm going to strengthen the community, and strengthen the different constituencies, and strengthen the island or the federation on a whole. But we have never run small businesses. We don't know what it takes to run a small business. And so most of it is just hot air. And so I've gotten that where, all the politicians are saying the same thing. What makes you different? And so that is my first question. What makes Natasha Daniel different? Because there is a lot that needs to be done, a whole lot that needs to be done in order to bring back the country where we feel it needs to be.
Okay. No, we talk about promises. And my father used to say a promise is a comfort to a fool. And we don't hold people accountable. As Jamie said, sometimes we make these promises, but we don't know, what it entails. Or when we reach into government, we basically don't know the all of the trappings. For example, we might say, when we go in, we're going to deal with health. We're going to say healthcare, for example.
Right.
We're going to fix the healthcare system. But, as you say, they don't have that knowledge. But instead, they surround themselves with people that have that knowledge and listen.
Correct.
Ask a question. Learn as you go. Because as teachers, when we went into teaching, we didn't know everything. We were supported by more experienced teachers. I could attest to that. So that is some of the things that we are not, and we don't know what is inside of the government purse to make those promises. Right. So that's one of the downfall, or one of the blind spots that we don't look at. Now, you asked a question just now, what difference could I make or bring to the table? Well, as I said, for example, the way I do things in teaching. So that type of, let's say, what word must I use now? That mentorship to build, to encourage and to motivate my students to do better and want to do better. That is what I want to bring to the table. Equal, no unfairness. Everybody across the board is equal, because at the end of the day, you're building a country. Country above self. But this time we're saying self above country. And if we're able to teach people and show them, listen, it's about the country. Let us put away all malice and strife and find a solution for all of us to live together and to build and go together. And that's how I teach my students. You have to help each other. So let us help each other. So that is what I want to bring different. Not a and demonizing, I have to get back at you politics.
Right.
You see, because that's what it's about. I'm going to get back at you. And so we demonize the opponent and we demonize people. So we do with this division. I don't want to bring this division and segregation, because if you look at it, we have been segregated by race, we have been segregated by education and class, and now we are being segregated or divided by politicians.
Correct.
So why not bring a different approach? Unity, love. As Bob Marley said, one love, one heart. Let Kittians unite and stop divide. And that's what I want to bring different to the table.
Right. And that's what we need. We need to stop the bickering. For me, as the election day has passed, it's time to rebuild. It's I mean, the victimization and the total lack of opportunities and the disrespect that pursue after the election day. I mean, when will that stop? We need to start, as you correctly said, building on that foundation and moving forward and putting people first. Because a lot of people out there are struggling very, very, very hard. I mean, I see it on a daily basis when I'm canvassing, and people need help. Now, there is a thin line between people saying, oh, people just want a handout and a hand up and different things. But when a man is drowning,
that is not a time to teach him to swim.
That is not the time to teach him to swim. I keep saying it. When a man is drowning, and a lot of us here in St. Kitts are drowning. We are drowning under the weight of the external shocks. We are drowning under the state of our economy here in St. Kitts. We are drowning under the state of our healthcare system. We are drowning under the educational. We're drowning under every system here. And so, how do you intend to provide those opportunities to survive to the people of constituency number 8?
Okay. Well, some of the opportunities, as we said, we spoke about agriculture, we spoke about education, healthcare. Right. Let's talk about all three. All three are married, basically, because you have to educate the people. And I always believe that if you start as a child and train them in that way, then you are able now to direct their path.
Right.
And from education to agriculture to eating proper foods, that now also adds to take away the strain from the health sector. So if we are allowed, so we have that opportunity where we have free education, free self-book, etc., internet. So we're getting there. We're not fully there yet because there are other areas in education that, for example, we are draining in skill. We are draining in skill positions. You find that the young men, a lot of them don't have a skill.
Yes.
So if we are able to have that opportunity to engage them more in skill areas, because I know AVEC had a program through the Taiwanese about, having skill areas, and they did introduce that. But we have a long way to go because some of the businesses do not really recognize AVEC and stuff. What I'm saying is that try and get some of our young men outside of the Federation to see things different and to get more knowledge, because we don't have it all here, and to expose them to different work ethics, because we have poor work ethics too. And once we're able to develop those and strengthen those, then the business spaces will come on board.
Right.
And then they'll be able to, as you said, fend for themselves, for a better word. They would not have to rely on a handout or be drowning because we gave them that foundation.
Right.
So my thing is, education is the key to get you out of foundation, to build a solid foundation. And that's why I always push for education. I said to my students, it is the most expensive key, but it could take you around the world.
Yes, it is.
And so that would prevent them from drowning And some of them would learn to swim, something that to throw them in the deep. How I throw mines in the deep too, so that they could save themselves.
Right.
So, with the health sector, we really need a lot of help in the health sector. And I thought that our good Prime Minister, as a trained specialist and physician in the medical field, would have, been more passionate about it. Like I'm passionate about education, and passionate about agriculture, because that is my field, what I love.
Right.
And so, if you love health, and a healthy nation is a wealthy nation, we cannot do anything if our health is
in shambles.
In shambles. Our health sector is in shambles, and our health is deteriorating. The foods that we eat contribute to that. The sector itself, the hospital need fixing, a number of things. MRI machine, whatever it is. Be passionate. Be more passionate. Show you love that sector.
Be more intentional.
Yes. Show you love that sector. Fix it. You can't fix everything. We know that. One time, but 4 years now. Do that. Too much cancer, too much this, that. Educate from small. Change your eating habits. And we could do that and provide the opportunities. Yes, we say opportunities might be broad, but you could scale it down. When I used to enter the classroom, I would say to my students, write down what you want to become. So we could ask that. Listen, what are your dreams? What are your goals? How could we help? We have a small business. Okay, how could we help you? And then we invest in that. Just like how we could invest in Marriott and all those other big, companies and stuff. We could do that. We could invest in our own people.
Okay. So we're going to take a short commercial break because we seem to be having some technical difficulties, and we'll be right back.
Freedom FM 1065.com. From St. Kitts and Nevis to the world, Freedom FM 106.5 FM.
Every day we're faced with choices to spend or to save, to delay or to stay on track. It's discipline that shapes our future because discipline means making the choice today that pays off tomorrow. Remember, discipline, choice, pays. A message from the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Have you heard that Mind, Body, and Soul is back?
Yes, Mind, Body, and Soul is back on Sundays at 4 p.m. only on Freedom FM, hosted by the inspiring Julie Charles. This is your go-to show for thought-provoking and uplifting conversations. Every Sunday, dive into topics that nourish your mind, body, and soul. From wellness tips to personal growth to deep conversations, Julie brings you the stories that inspire change and spark reflection. Don't miss out. Tune into Minds, Body, and Soul on Sundays at 4 p.m. and let Freedom FM guide you to a more balanced and inspired life. Minds, Body, and Soul on Freedom FM Sundays at 4 p.m. And we are back at 1:59. We had some technical difficulties. We're trying to figure out the cause of those technical difficulties. They seem kind of strange. But we are back, and our guest today for Hot Topics is Natasha Daniel. She is the newly announced candidate for Constituency 8 for the People's Action Movement. We are still... Nothing? So those of... Okay, so ads alone. Okay, so I am going to appeal to everybody to spread the message that we are on. We are on live on the radio. The correct message is coming on the radio, and you can also find us on YouTube and on Facebook. There seems to be some problems with the radio app and the website, but we're trying to get that rectified. In the meantime, we were speaking about empowering people, speaking about providing opportunities for people through education, through healthcare, through agriculture. So, Nubian, let's continue the conversation.
I know. I am passionate about agriculture. I grew up on a farm. I'm still involved in agriculture. And I know you were involved in agriculture.
We work at agriculture at the ministry.
Correct.
Yes.
What are some of the opportunities? Because me and Jamie had a show a few weeks ago, and we were talking about how can we bring a level of some sort of aquaculture here to St. Kitts. I know sometimes we might not like the tilapia, but the tilapia is something that can be exported. Even fish farming, ornamental fish farming, ornamental bird farming, animal husbandry on a whole. How can we bring that to our youths? I mean, when you look at the value of ornamental fish that the U.S. imports, it's in the millions of dollars. We are under all of these fish out of Asia and other places far away. I mean, we are very close.
With similar climates.
With similar climate, correct. And so we can involve our youths into all of these areas in aquaculture, animal husbandry on a whole, where we could start producing more for local demand and also for export, and bringing in the well-needed foreign currency that we desperately need in St. Kitts. How do you vision using agriculture to provide opportunities to our youths here in St. Kitts?
Well, first of all, it starts in the school. Mm-hmm. And that's why I went to study agriculture, to start and educate and teach them to love the subject, because you find that most people say, agriculture is dirty work, it's for the poor, because they have associated it with slavery. And so when I went to teach, I show them a different way. Listen, this is about where you could be making money. Agriculture has money. It's about the earth. It's the first thing that you would know in the Garden of Eden and stuff like that. And I would teach them passionately, listen, this is something that you have to love. And I would go on, I would teach with humor and stuff. So with aquaculture now, aquaculture has been a hot topic. And working at the Ministry of Agriculture, I would be honest and tell you right now that aquaculture was fought down on a large scale.
Really?
Yes, it was fought down. We have a young man who went to Taiwan, who studied aquaculture, came back enthusiastic, and he got turned off. I could recall the director, Mark Williams. He was pushing for aquaculture, but it was shut down from the highest level of finance. So the vision is very poor when it comes to agriculture. Where there is no vision, the people would perish because they don't love it. And so all these, aquaculture and aquaponics and ornamental fishing and stuff, they're frowned upon. And
that's just amazing. That's just wild to me, right?
Because we already located the area for aquaculture right there in Holland. Well, we call it Holland, but it's between Keys and Cayon, the outskirts of Cayon. And nothing. We had that as well down there in La Valley. Nothing come to fusion at all. And so it's like you're killing the sector instead of building it and pushing and pumping this resource that is vital. I know that there were projects that came across my desk about aquaculture, even deep sea fishing, aquaculture.
And I think it's
in
important.
The cage. I saw that myself.
And I think it's important for us to set the context. You were not in a low-level position in agriculture.
What position you held?
I had the assistant secretary, and when my boss, Al, was out,
Assistant permanent secretary?
Yes.
Okay.
They don't say permanent, but assistant secretary.
Right. Yeah,
and there was no senior, so it was myself
so you were
and Alistair. So when he's out, I was the one who would be responsible for the running of the ministry. And he would pass on all of the projects. So I would oversee and look at it and scrutinize it and say, well, these are the improvements and whatever. So whatever projects that came in, even there were one or two of them for Beauforts as well, because you mentioned animal husbandry. But most of it was just pushed aside. But aquaculture.
But why? Because we're speaking about
because there is no vision.
People. We're speaking about being innovative, because we can't continue to do what we have been doing forever.
Of course
right?
not.
We speak about the young people and we say, but they're not doing what they should be doing and whatever. But if there are projects to positively engage them, as we said when Nubian and I had the program, I remember when I was growing up, everybody wanted fish. All the little boys used to try to go mountain to get fish.
Go in the river.
Right? Well, Nubian said he used to catch fish in the drain.
Yes.
I used to catch them. I used to catch them in the river.
Right? But everybody tried. And even now, when you see the agriculture open day, you always see these little children with the bags of fish.
Yes.
So there is interest. Right? So why aren't we not harnessing that interest and turning it into real job opportunities?
Where there is no vision, the people will perish.
Exactly.
Because we have, as you said, innovation. I know there have been persons who came to the ministry about aquaponics, and again, the government and let's say some people in government were not keen on it. And some of these things we could talk about, and it basically hurts me because I'm like pushing for these. Let's be innovative. Let's give this a chance. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you would not know unless you try it. And then you're turning off the younger ones who are interested, who either got a scholarship or took a loan to further their education in these specialized area like aquaculture to be thrown aside. I could manfully call names because, as I told you, I hold position, but I would not. And they're thrown aside. And this is where you could get millions of dollars coming in. The fisheries at Allwood and at the Bassia fisheries, you find that the fish count is low. They might say, oh yeah, we have a high fish count. Who collects the data? A human being who don't go out and collect data, but they falsify data. I could say it, I've worked at the top.
Oh my God.
I work at the top. I'm not going to lie and hide. I know it because I work at the top.
And
so
we've
if
heard that.
we could balance off.
We've heard that from fishermen.
Yeah.
That the count of fish has decreased significantly in recent times. I've heard that. I even put that question to the Marine Department as to why, because the fishermen, they have their ideas as to why that is so. But without having the data, without doing the investigation, we can just speculate.
Well, I'm not gonna speculate because the data has to come to us. The data has to come to the ministry. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is that aquaculture could balance that off.
Definitely.
So
allow the fishing grounds to replenish, to regenerate.
And it also provides opportunities for women also. I mean, in the shrimp industry, the fish industry for like tilapia and other edible fishes, there are opportunities for women and young people to establish small businesses. And this is being done currently in Jamaica, in Trinidad, yes, in other places in the Caribbean, but we always seem to come last as it pertains to the regional ways to diversify and develop and empower our people. I can't understand it.
No, I think that some of our politicians they're not in tune.
Flat-footed.
Why? Because my thing is even for the 20 by 25, the 20 by 25 agriculture initiative that they had out, you would see, as I watched it, where Barbados was sending Barbados black belly sheep to Guyana, and they were sending people to train from Guyana to Barbados, and so they have this trade, but nothing is trickling down to the small islands. So where do we fit in, really? Mm-hmm. Well, because you could send someone like a friend of mine. I think it was Saturday. And he was like, Tasha really wanted to see you because I'm interested in starting a shrimp farm. Mm-hmm. And I said, that is very good. And he said, listen, I have a friend in Trinidad and I'm going there. So I could see his operation to see what I could do here. Mm-hmm. Now, if they had vision throughout the ministry, no, they would have initiated these type of opportunities are, a headway or leeway for young people.
Right.
Listen, we are going to send 2 persons to train. You're going to do this, you're going to do shrimp, you're going to do aquaculture.
Right.
Let us see how we could run these projects on a small scale. Mm-hmm. And we start on a small scale, and then we gradually expand.
Right.
It cannot hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
We bring in breeds. You went to Nigeria. You're going and you're talking about you're signing documents for Nollywood and all those other things. So why not sign some documents about agriculture? Because we cannot eat movie. We cannot eat movie. We can't eat a movie. The people cannot eat movie. How many of us down here is going to go and act? The people want food security, sustainable avenues where they could get jobs. Mm-hmm. Because if my young friend who is interested in the shrimp farm, he could hire some boys in Cayon.
Most definitely.
You see that?
Yeah. I mean...
Why are you keeping down your people?
I have a friend...
Empower.
I have a friend who is a goat farmer. And we were looking at... He has like some half-breed and he has some full-bred goats. And we was looking as to where we could get Boer goats from.
Yeah.
And so we called St. Lucia, I think it was, and we called Jamaica. The wait lists that they have for Boer goats, purebred Boer goats in Jamaica, was so long, the man said none would be available for sale until the following year.
Right.
So why can't we empower our farmers to and assist in getting these breeds in?
And set up a breeding program here.
Exactly. So that,
Because we were speaking about...
and there wasn't for meat, there was just for export.
Just for the breeding program, because remember we were speaking about that recently, and I said, you can go to Barbados for dogs.
Yes.
You could go to Barbados for birds.
Yes.
What you come and think it's for? Right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to be able to export something. There is a huge market for birds. Huge market.
Huge market for birds, huge market for fish, huge markets for dogs, huge market for goats, sheep, cattle, and we are here stuck on zero. And I cannot understand
Cattle as
why.
well.
Yeah, well, I must say we started the Boer Goat program, but the issue was, I don't know if, I want to be honest, housing. And so we asked a farmer to house them for us. So that farmer is now in charge of basically that. I don't know. They had some issues at the department in terms of care. They were at Bayford at a point in time. And so we brought them down to the department, and they were there, and then we gave them over to a farmer. So there is some, and they have some mixed breed, but as we said, we could do better.
Yes.
The cattle, etc., I recall we were trying to get in some cattle. Maybe we were looking at St. Croix, but that was shut down. So, yes, we could, as I said before, if we were going to Africa and other places, I know the Boer goat, I had reached out to a lady from Miami about the Boer goats and stuff like that, and she was willing to, but the issue was, she was like, my goats don't have to get the TB test. And our farms, the application form to bring them in, request that.
Right.
So that was one of the the stumbling block. But there are a lot of areas that we can improve on, because there are so many different breeds that you could bring in, from especially meat breeds.
Correct.
Because our animals down here, the meat breed, the meat itself is low in terms of quantity, but the Boer, they will give you more per kilograms.
Right.
Per pound if you want, because we do kilograms and we do pounds.
Right. So, I mean, it's just finding creative ways to give our people those opportunities that would give them a step ahead. And so, like, as I told you, the farm in Jamaica, they don't slaughter the goats. It's a farm that breeds for you buy this goat to incorporate in your stock. Or
to upgrade your stock.
Yes.
Correct. And so when would we reach there if we can't even meet our local quota? I said it on the radio the other day. I was surprised that we were getting mutton from Antigua.
And yes.
Right. So it's evident that we can't fill the local demand, and we have so much of our youths out there that want to get into farming but can't get into farming. How do we rectify that problem and give our people the well-needed opportunities that they should have just to survive?
And that problem has to start with the head.
Exactly.
Government. I know everything is not about government, but if we're starting off slow, like young people, they're going to need some assistance.
Definitely.
And so I always say that we wasted that money, the CBI program money, because you should have been able to pump some of that money into the youths in getting them started, whether it's in animal husbandry, agro-processing, jams, jellies, juice, etc. whatever it is, you have to pump it, because we find that the budget for agriculture, it's so small. It's like 20 something million dollars, 30 something million dollars. Whereas you would find, the Prime Minister's office is about 70 million and those things. Sports, agriculture, they even more money pump into those areas, literally pump into agriculture. Access to lands is another problem, because the other day I saw they put out, your animals would be impounded. And I'm like, why would you impound somebody's animal when you have not provided the land for them? So is that the solution? You are to provide lands. And those lands, when they're fenced or caged in, and then if the animals are out and roaming, and you already have those lands, then you can do that. But it is your duty to provide the lands for the livestock farmers. So you find that livestock farmers have their animals on people's land. And they say, get your animals off of my land. That's my land.
Even though they're people's land, in the road.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that, Jamie.
In the road.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this. Because they don't have lands, they have to put them on people's land. Residential land that is not occupied. And so you'll find some of them on the road and stuff because they don't have lands.
So there needs to be, we need to look at the bigger picture, and there needs to be a more holistic plan. Provide areas, because sometimes we hear a lot about the monkey issue, and I'm not trying to take away from the fact that monkeys are posing a problem for agriculture. But a lot of the times where people talking about monkeys and this and that, we live in the area, that's where they were living.
Well, that's
right?
why I tell somebody,
So
we've gone up and they come down. It's an exchange.
We have allocated a lot of land for housing. Now, in doing that, that's fine because people need somewhere to live.
Yes.
But we also need a plan as to how we are going to allocate land for farming, right? Because we can't do one without the other. We
Especially
need somewhere to
livestock.
live, but we have to eat too. We have to be able to feed ourselves as a country. So
Exactly.
we need a more holistic plan. We can't be just doing things haphazardly and saying, we're going to build a house up there, but we're concerned about the farmers who are up there. We move them, and then we move them again, and then we move them again, and they become displaced, and they don't have anywhere to operate.
Well, I know policies need to be put in place. We need policies about land management, and we need not to work or collaborate with sustainable development because they're the one who's in charge of lands. Agriculture has lands that are designated for them. However, we find that we have to sometimes give up the lands for housing.
Right.
And I could recall when in Keon we did have that issue where we had to relocate farmers. So we relocate them, got the lands, reimbursed them, and they were able to, continue their farming, because that's their livelihood. So sometimes we find that sustainable development will say to us, listen, the farmers, they're not utilizing the land, so why do you want more lands? So that's one of the issues that we here are currently battling right now with sustainable development. Because if a farmer has, like, for example, let's say 30 acres, and they're only using 2, Sustainable say, listen, this land is underutilized. We are not going to give you any more lands because the farmers are not using their lands. And so we have a back and forth with sustainable development right now. So what we have to do is to say, listen, you have to utilize the land. If we try and say, Nubian doesn't have a piece of land, you have 30, you're only using 5 or 10, we're going to give him 5. That's a big problem. We can't. Or they go to the minister. Yes.
And it becomes a political issue.
Yes.
And you don't want to lose the vote.
Leave him alone. You know? So it's a lot of issues right there. So it's going to take some time to smooth out, but this has to be on a legal standpoint as well too. So the whole holistic
Yes.
help, legal, sustainable agriculture, housing. We have to work together as a team to work it all out.
So I want to welcome those of you who are joining us via the website. We are back up on the website. So those of you who like to listen to us on the app or your computer, we are back. So our guest for this afternoon is the People's Action Movement candidate for Constituency 8, Natasha Daniel. Now, Ms. Daniel, you've spoken a lot about agriculture, so I guess agriculture is one of the areas that you intend to
That's my baby.
Yes. I know you are also passionate about education.
Yes.
What else can we look forward to from you?
Well, we spoke about health.
Yes.
Because, again, when I have to see people, especially for the little children, picking up money via sponsor sheets and stuff, and I'm saying, listen, our healthcare system should be even much better than this. We need to actually sit down and say, hey, listen, if we don't take care of our children, if we don't take care of our people, we are going to be in problems, Jamie. Mm-hmm. When you see little children have diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney problems at a young age, and we can't do much. We need to have trained doctors, specialized doctors, improvement in technical ability. So when we get these machines, they're not up there sitting down, broken down. You go for your blood test. You take to draw blood into the blood test. The machine is down. You got to come back. We're going to call you when it's up. So we need technicians to be on those machines all the time. Also, social services. A lot of, as Nubian said, a lot of people out there hurting and crying. Mm-hmm. They have the challenge financially.
And there's no shame in that.
And there's no shame in it because we all go through it.
Correct.
We all go through it, And so, especially single mothers, they have it really, really hard. And their money is not really big because I sometimes wonder, wait, how do they do that? Because if I am at that scale, a higher scale, like 4 or 5 times their scale, how do they do that? And not only with one child, but 2 or 3. And
especially when school is about to open and you have to buy textbooks, you have to buy shoes, you have to buy uniforms, you have to buy bags. It's
Listen, I know a young lady
and still provide lunch.
I know a young lady who ends up with like $20-something in her purse at by Saturday morning. By the time she done buy a little food and allocate a little money to pay she rent, $20-something what she ends up with
for the rest of the week.
For the rest of the week, she's dependent on child support or getting something from other family members, and it's tough.
Right, it's
tough.
I know, and that is why I'm saying to people, especially those of us who work in government, we like to count people's pockets. And because they don't tell their story. Like Sinobian is telling somebody's story that they're left with $20. And because we don't tell them our stories, they figure that they have money. Why cut down uniform? I could recall, I'm still a little young and old in between, but I could recall that under Dr. Kennedy Simmons, mother used to go and we get rice and flour and sugar, butter, everything, peas from the health center.
Milk.
And milk. So, the little milk powder, you mix it with a little sugar and you eat it, you feel good. So that used to cut that cost for poor people. So they would only have to find a little piece of chicken, whether it's back and neck or whatever it is. But that really stopped, a gap in there. So if these are some of the things that we need to, you have vouchers at social services, and they so stingy. People come and complain. They're picking out. We don't pick out when people are hungry.
Because we like to sit on from our vantage point and say, oh, but Nubian has this and Nubian has that. So really and truly, he has to have money, and his priorities are not right because X, Y, Z, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because to me, that boosts our ego, right? We're not looking at. I remember a young man called in one time and he said, "Miss McPhail, listen," a past student, and he said, "Miss McPhail, listen, when I don't pay my rent and I don't pay this, he said he paying water, electricity, and probably internet."
Yes.
And people calling afterwards and say, "Oh, but he ain't poor. He got internet and he had water." Like, what do you want? How you want people to live?
Exactly.
How do you want people to live? Under what condition?
Right.
He's supposed to be homeless to be poor?
Exactly. Or should he do without water? We cannot even still go and find that standpipe like once ago and catch water on the road.
Exactly. So
they're
what? Or
forcing
maybe
poor
they want him
people-
to light a candle.
Yeah, they're forcing poor people to get water because I could recall we would go on the street and head water. So people just count your pockets and don't know.
Exactly.
Like for me, sometimes I look at my students and I said, no, James is quiet today. What is wrong with James? That is not like James. Like, take him outside. James, what is wrong with you?
They're
Miss
hungry.
Daniela hungry. I just put my mouth to the fence and say, Mary, put it on the tab. Go get something to eat. Bring it in the classroom and eat in here because I don't want the head teachers to see you eating out there in the corridor. But they are hungry. We
And
don't
we
know.
saw many children
Yes.
hungry. As
Many.
teachers, you see, and that is when I first recognized because, I didn't grow up with that level of hunger and that kind of thing, right? And when I started to teach and I started to see some of these children, and I'm like, this is how people living in this. You understand? And my
yes.
mother used to always say, we are poor people. So
Yes.
I thought poor people were us.
Yes.
And then when I saw these children coming to school, no breakfast, no lunch, I was like,
Right.
and then you judge the parents. So there's that level of judgment. So sometimes parents don't want to ask for help.
Yes. They don't. I've seen it and I've lived it and I've played my part to assist where I can. Because they cannot function when they're hungry. They're distracted, they're hungry, so you have to feed them. And that's why I tell people that teachers, we are not only teachers, we are
Nurses.
guidance counselors, nurses, pastors, cleaners. When they're sick, we have to look after them and stuff like that. So we are everything. And, sometimes we become their confidant and all. Because what they wouldn't tell the parents, they would tell us. And so we need to stop looking at the outside, this shallow thinking, and dig deep and say, listen, what really is that person's thing? Sometimes they might say, well, she always wish up. Maybe only the one thing is here, wish up, but that was her birthday. And she just said, why don't just splurge because I work in all the time and I bring back with $10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we first have to care.
We have to care. That's why I said we have to start loving each other.
And
The
that's
Bible
where it
says to
starts.
Love
That's where
your
it
neighbors,
starts.
you love
It-
yourself.
it-
Just show love.
And a lot of times, the person that enter into this political arena that can make a difference, as Jamie said earlier, they don't have a track record of service.
Right.
They have never done anything in their community to uplift the level of poverty in the communities. They've never helped out in schools. They've never helped out in different social clubs, and so they get thrust into this space. And they do what they normally do. They don't normally be there, and so you expecting them to be there for the community on a busy schedule, and it just would not happen. It's not in their nature, and so caring and going above and beyond to make sure that people are okay, make sure that people are provided with these opportunities, it just would not happen. That's why it's so critically important to make sure for political parties that you are choosing the right persons with that sort of empathy, that sort of compassion, that sort of innate response that you get. Hey, there's an issue over here, and your mind start to think creatively. How can I fix that issue? How can I help these people to live better? How can I put them in a different economic space? How can I provide them with more opportunities? How can I help? And that is one of our major problems that we are facing here.
There's a comment here on the Facebook that says this entitled mentality is not making our society any better. Yes, there are needy people, but they have to be taught to fish rather than always have fish handed to them. No, for me,
We
right?
just spoke about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
For
we just
me,
spoke about that.
it's about providing a scaffold, basically. You know about scaffolding
Yes,
in education, right? Because there are some people who will start out at a lower level. Now, it is important for politicians. That's what we want to see from our politicians. That's what I want to see. I want to see politicians who care enough to help to bring them to the level where they can learn to fish for themselves.
And then I'm going to support you, Jamie, biblically. In the Bible, the story says that the master gave everybody a talent. One got 5, one got 2, one got 1. They expect us, he gave it to us so that we could multiply it. The one who did not multiply it, he told him that he's a worthless servant, and he threw him out. He said, I'm going to cast you out into utter darkness. I said this to say that is not entitlement. God is providing a way for us to make something of ourselves. So I give you 5, and you came back with 10. I give you 2, and you brought 4. So it shows that when we give you, we are aiding you to move from point A to point B. That is not entitlement. God did not see it as entitlement. God wants you to multiply that talent that he gave you so that you could be on your own. He said, yes, well, good and faithful servant, you have done well. He didn't say, just go out and get what you want. He always tried to provide. So if we give that helping hand, then they will be able to provide for themselves. You have to help people.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But we are almost out of time because we did have some technical issues.
Right.
So you want to open the line?
Yes, we can.
We can
Most
open
definitely.
the lines. The numbers to call in are 662-1065, 465-6474, or 465-0546. That's 662-1065, 465-6474, or 465-0546. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear your suggestions. You can raise a topic if you like as well. But I think that this conversation this afternoon has been very insightful because we are getting to know you as a person without, asking you the hard questions and digging deep into you, right? We're not grilling you today. We just want to have a conversation to find out.
This is my easy day.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not always going to be easy, though.
I know. We have easy days. We have easy days in the classroom,
Yes.
too. Yes.
Good afternoon. You're live.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jamie.
Good
And good afternoon to you panelists. Jamie, I hear you talk about everything else, but I ain't talk about the nastiness one back still. Lubian, I visit your constituents this week, Sunday. And why see the Harlem Alley? You born and raised in McKnight just like me, see? And why see them Alley, man? And approving these kind of things with all you, politician, That health department need to start get up and work. And the incumbent, she better go to them alley and do a good job, Start to clean before election. Because I will go to there and tell people don't even watch Marshall. All them alleys need to clean. That's thing. And the nastiness in Bastille, extension in Newton and the rural area. So and around the tourist belt, we ain't gonna approve this. We're not gonna approve it. It's too much nastiness in the country. It's tourists we saying. And then they're trying to come and talking about home port. Marshall, home port don't go so. Home port don't go so. Clean up your backyard. Go down the health department and talk to these people that go around and do their job. And gentleman and the man, the farmer government man, Arundel. You got to bring this public official, make them accountable, let them do the damn work. The place
Okay,
is
Manners.
stink.
Okay.
Have a good afternoon.
Have a good afternoon. I understand that you're passionate, but we're going to ask you to try to tone down your language when you're calling into the radio. Remember, it's radio. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good afternoon, Jamie.
Good afternoon, sir.
And good afternoon to Natasha Daniel there.
Good afternoon, sir.
They represent constituency number 8 in Kayan, in number 8 constituency. And good afternoon, Lobian.
Yes, man. Good afternoon, brother.
The Lobian, before start, I do not want nobody calling and turn the program like last week. Last week I was trying to get in. And you had a gentleman there engaging, long.
Nobody was engaged with him.
That is the strategy to tie up your people them who want to call in to waive their grievance and whatever. Now, Natasha, I want to wish you all the best in number 8. When I hear the last, and I don't think I know you personally. Maybe I know you, but maybe I know you. But because I saw you was in the agriculture department. And I'm a livestock farmer, and I also a gong farmer too. But I don't want to go anymore now, like that. Now, I want to commend you to make a step in the political arena. Because it's people like you we want. I like to hear you. And just look how you talk and you deliver, especially about fishing and all those things. I believe that you will make a good input in a government. Because, saying this to say that, we have a Minister of Agriculture here. He ain't doing nothing at all for farmers. To the majority of farmers. Maybe some farmers get in trouble. People with a livestock farmer got the raising the animals. Sometimes you can't get treatment for your animals. You can't get the vertical. The animal then wash off with germs again. And it wasn't like that just about 4 or 5 years ago. It wasn't like that. Thing was getting clean up and all kind of thing. Just imagine that we got to send news to buy vertical for the animals then because the agriculture department don't even have any. They can't afford to go buy they can't afford to buy it. Because they tell you it's expensive and all those things. The treatment for the animals then again, they can't afford to buy the treatment. So they're bringing in the cheap things. So even if the animal inject, the animal is still coming out of the animal skin. And this is what we get to face in this country. You understand? And time now the people of this country get serious. Because Jeremy, we got to feed ourselves. Houses and all. I'm not against houses. I'm not against houses putting down or whatever putting down. But the small man need to build up too. And to farm, plant food for people because nobody know out in the other world. You hear about the cruise ship the other day. That people they got to take people off the cruise ship and all these things because an outbreak was on it. We don't have a cruise and this country shut down again. We got to be careful. You understand? So you sound like a serious lady going into government. I hope the people in the constituency listen to you and take your word seriously. You all have a wonderful day. May God bless.
Thank you so much for that
Thanks.
contribution. Let's just go straight back to the lines because people want to get in. Good afternoon. You're live.
Greetings to each and everyone.
Greetings.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we are long time now. I ain't come on the radio station
Yeah,
because
we missed you. We missed you.
you all right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're
thanks.
good.
Yes, I just on to topic fast because time going. The lady just said that in Canada's time, he used to have the milk powder, the sweet corn, everything, flour, everything. That time when thing was nice with everybody. Everybody used to enjoy that. Especially when you're going for the mackerel and the flour. Oh my, I enjoy that. So she's very right. Excuse me. So in that time there, when my mother used to go, and we used to go for the milk powder and the butter, we go up on the estate to get the flour, the mackerel. Oh my, I enjoy that. That was time. Agriculture. To me, agriculture It kind of poor. No respect in agriculture in a kind of way. People in agriculture as number one. And agriculture is number one. Because after a time, everybody have to come to the farmers them. Because you got time now, the boat going to stop one. Nothing going to come here. So me tell everyone, if you go in university, and you got 10 university people going to university, the 10 are you in, say what are you want to go to the doctor, lawyer, magistrate. 6 are you going to agriculture. And then the rest go who they want to be doctor, lawyer, is them. But agriculture is number one. I tell anybody that. And play thing. It's a really serious thing. I won't take no more time because I have more things to say, but the next time. Greetings.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good afternoon, you're live.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jamie. Good afternoon, Nubian.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
sir.
Jamie, Nubian, until I something, right? I mean, hearing a vehicle been going around talking about persons joining gang and these kind of things, right? But how my life is how is my life is right present, and now it's like my life is like why my intention is like by this mountain I need to go do what I got to do in Milan. Personally, I can't continue how we're going to with life how it is present and now. This whole thing and this thing is in the police, the head of the police, the commissioner of police, Jamie could recall about 6 weeks after about 2 months. He was in the station, and they say, oh, they're going to overlook this and they're going to look back into this, look back. But how come they can't come forward with nothing? Look at it, right? How could somebody go cut my pipe, put on a key on it, divert in the water elsewhere? How somebody could come and throw a pipe on top of my pipe? How could somebody come and take up half of the road and nothing could be said? That is the part of the police. But the part with me fencing it to the agriculture department. But by this mountain, to be honest, right? To be honest, Jamie. Me and how thing I work out, Hello?
We're listening.
Yeah, we listen to you, Kashwai. Go ahead, man.
1991, right? It's X amount of long big gun. I look into down Central Street and 4th Street. Yeah, go get self-produce at the same land now. Between 91 and 93, 94, my mother there calling and dead, a Thursday night. Von and View supposed to come the 9 o'clock the Friday morning. Policeman with long big gun again. I don't understand what been going through, But the man is over a mile. He can't me to get pipes and mile of pipe to get water on my mountain range. And it's like the commissioner of police, Corporal Phipps. See, may I fail to call his name because she's trying to burn me, but judgment. And I start asking, good citizens, I need to listen to it, because may I take this much longer, I promise my uncle come see what's going on, Fulfill I promise. Agriculture talking. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tweed. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're live. Good afternoon. Okay, we missed that one. Nubia, Natasha?
I mean, you could hear the passion in the voices of the callers. We need to do better. We need to do more. We need to focus more on people, give people back that sense of pride and dignity, giving people those opportunities that we desperately need. We need to build out St. Kitts, and we need to build out from the ground up. Our farmers, our teachers, the school, the healthcare system, all of those are fundamental parts of the infrastructure that we need to start building on to build a truly sustainable nation.
Well, there's no country without education, healthcare, and agriculture, basically, because those are the 3 pillars. And one of the callers who spoke about the bun tick, that is on the cattle. I could recall there was an outbreak under our administration, and we took the bull by the horn, and we had a program for supposed to be 6 months, but it went on for a year. And we brought in all of the medicals, all of the treatment, everything. Farmers, they got that treatment, and they also got compensated for the loss of the animals.
Because it was really bad.
It was really bad. And because I fought for it and we cared, and it was under myself and Mrs. Bonkamp, we decided no. Because, yes, every day, a number of farmers were on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I could
remember.
recall. They marched down to Church Street. And my PS at the time, she said, listen, Natasha, go and deal with them. And I went down and they listened to me. And then we had a meeting, and we said, put down what your needs are and what you think that you deserve. And we fulfilled it, excepting for the cattle that we were supposed to try to bring in from St. Croix at the time.
Yes.
Because they went and did their own research. But as I said to you, those at the head fought it. And so sometimes I would say it honestly that I don't think they want the farmers to have the same lifestyle as they are. I believe people like to know that you are kept at a certain level of life, because you're not supposed to be driving a BMW as a farmer or a Prada as a farmer or whatever you are calling things and stuff. You know, Tasha is still walking our Lexus. And so, you know, you don't find the passion. Those who are passionate about agriculture are pushed aside, like myself and others. So the workers at the department, and even the ministry, wherever they are unmotivated. Because when you have ideas, some people come up with, hey, you know, if you go to Cuba, you're a communist, you come with your communist ideas. If you go to America, you come with your capitalist ideas. No, every idea helps to build a sector.
And you look for the best practices.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And watch here, if you are to combine all of those ideas, you know you would get something good out of it. And so agriculture is always being pushed aside. And you don't want that. You want that if there is an outbreak, like when we had the coronavirus and there was no ship coming in and everybody's looking out to the sea, then didn't you learn then? So why not do it now? Now is the time to do it. Why wait for another outbreak to catch you with your pants down, to catch you unprepared? You don't want that.
Right.
So start building your sector. Agriculture is a moving industry. And when I started to talk about agriculture, I could talk forever. It's a moving industry. And even with the land preparation, farmers have to wait 3-4 months to get cut up. When they get that one cut, they say, oh, all the lands are being cut. Lies. You have that one cut, but there are second or third cut depending on the grass, how thick it is. It has to be broken down. And then the tractor is not going to come back again. It comes back when the grass grow back up. And farmers have to go and pay again and pay again. You see that?
Right.
Because there's no vision. You have to have a capital project where land prep, if you're not going to, what they call it, like, lease it out to another company or privatize it, then you should have technical specialists on the ground and parts on the ground, not waiting for the tractor to break down. You have to order a part. The part comes in 3 months. You have to take another 3 months because you have to send it back. It's the wrong part. So that means you're going to disrupt the planting time right down to marketing. And then Rams are going to bring in theirs. Best Buy are going to bring in theirs.
Yes.
Because there's no produce.
Because there's no produce.
Right.
Because your foundation is rocky.
Correct.
So you have to fix that problem.
So all of this can be fixed at the policy level.
Yes, it can be fixed at the policy level.
That's where it's fixed, actually.
Because when you have those tractors at Public Works sitting down, and we had like over $300,000 worth of machinery at Public Works, John Deere, no one could fix them. Because John Deere has their specialists. Why not send some young men to John Deere? There's a John Deere school. Send them there. let them get that exposure. They're going to come back to build the country that we are supposed to love so much. But they don't love agriculture. If they had loved agriculture would be at the forefront.
Let's take another call. Good afternoon. You're live. Oh, we missed that one. Let's try this one. Good afternoon. You're live.
Pleasant good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, I'm calling this afternoon in relation to, I think there was sometime last year, there was this conversation going about this large quantities of bananas and coconut cheese.
Of what?
Banana cheese.
Oh, okay.
And coconut cheese were imported to be distributed. Were they distributed just to farmers or anybody who had an interest? And basically, how was they dispersed, and how is that progressing? Mr. Griot, Nubian, I heard you spoke passionately about the aquaculture, the shrimp farm that was over there in Canary. Is it still or could be viable, and how much of it can be recovered, or if we need to pick it up, if there's remnants of it still there, and if it's possible to resuscitate it?
Yeah. Thank you so much for those questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, the shrimp farm, the area is still there, but the shrimp farm itself is closed. What I envision for aquaculture here in St. Kitts is not only that particular area, but you heard Miss Daniel spoke about other locations on the island where we could have 4 or 5 shrimp farm, because I heard one estimate that we order something close to $1.5 million worth of seafood on an annual basis. So can we get 5 or 6 of our young people in aquaculture, specifically dealing with shrimp? Because at some point in time we would want to export. Can we get 4 or 5 or 6 of our young people growing tilapia for export? I mean, there is tilapia up in Ram's freezers right now. Can we supply that demand and reach to a point where we can export? So our local consumption come first, and then we export on top of that. So the aquaculture is not only for shrimp, and I'm glad you identify that. It is for shrimp and fish and mussels and even ornamental fish, because, as I say, there's a huge international market for ornamental fish. So we want to be able to cover all of those bases.
Yes. I just want to clarify that there is aquaculture, and you know that aquaculture basically, you could do it in brackish water like what we have at Connery, and there is also the deep one. There is shrimp culture, so they're different. One is fish that is in fresh water or brackish water, meaning that a mixture of salt and
fresh water.
Salt and fresh water and stuff. So, we could capitalize on what Nubian is saying, where we invest in our young people. And that's why I mentioned one of my young men in Keon who is now pursuing that area. So we can basically, if we are to look at the figures from stats, and I don't want to quote any figure, I would do my research and could bring back that figure and say, this is the amount of shrimp that we imported over the last 5, 6, 7 years, because I don't want to distort anybody's thinking or saying, oh yeah, no, I want to bring the real data to you. And the imports of aquaculture, etc. We could bring those figures to you. They are available at Statistic Department, and so you will have a clearer picture of the importance of having these here and the cost that will be reduced in terms of importation. So it's the same across the board with meats, because I know you
Right.
said, you're bringing in mutton from
Antigua.
and etc. and stuff like that. So we have to compare these figures and we say, okay, these are the areas that we need to work at, to improve and to reduce imports.
Lobster is a seasonal thing. You can't harvest lobster
I know.
all year round.
The Department of Marine Resources is responsible for that.
Correct.
So, yes.
But
I'm here.
in places like the Philippines and places like New Zealand, they have farms that grow lobster.
And that is why I love Traore Abraham, because he's about agriculture, because he knows if his people can feed themselves. And that is why he took on a project, same aquaculture, through I think either Netherlands or Denmark, collaborating with these people. So when we are looking at forming alliances with certain countries, these are things that we need to ask. And so, one day I was here and I was laughing and I was like, Queen Sheba is going to go to Solomon and listen to all the wisdom. And why I said that is that Queen Sheba, like Natasha Daniel, will go to Abraham Traore and say, listen, I love what you're doing. I need some of your knowledge.
Right.
I want to know how you plan to feed your people. And I've seen some of it. So tell me, teach me, help me. You see that? That is how we are supposed to be forming alliances. How are we going to strengthen our society in terms of food security, sustainability, cleaner energy, things like those things. Education. We need, yes, healthcare. We started, and what I find is that we are not consistent here. We're not consistent. I could recall, and I'm not going to bash any labor and any PAM. We're talking about it straight across the board. I'm going to call it out. We started to say, okay, we're going to do universal health care. Have you heard anything about it? And that was under the unity concept. So nobody going to come and say, oh, Tasha bashing, the healthcare system and then talk about it. Things like those things.
We're just too slow.
Yes.
We're
just too slow. That's what I'm saying. We need to put some fire under our feet.
Because again, and I often say we have excellent ideas. The problem is not the ideas, but implementation seems to be an issue. Because 7 years under unity and 4 years under this administration. That's how many years?
Listen, the distance between when we get the idea and we speak about it to when we actually do it is too far and too long. People are out there suffering.
For how many years?
And
11 plus?
11 years.
Right.
And then look at the amount of people who may have died in those 11 years because they did not have access to healthcare because they didn't have money.
People who die from cancer, etc. And this universal healthcare.
So you can understand the real impact.
Yes.
Right? And we're just going along with our lives like
healthcare for disability, persons with disability. I mean, I spoke about that, because they're not on national Caribbean insurance like us, like government workers. And some parents, they're $500. When my cousin said, listen, just an eye drop is $100 and something for her child.
And somebody messaged me about that. Somebody's a single parent. She said, can you imagine how difficult it is for parents of children with disabilities?
Right. The United States of America take care of those children. Their children, they're basically the state's children. So if you're going to provide something where they could get some relief.
Exactly.
Because if I'm working for $500 and my child's medication is $400, what else is there?
And then you're gonna have to make a choice.
Exactly.
And the medication just may not be on the list, on the budget for this week.
Exactly.
Because you have to pay rent, you have to pay for food, you have to feed the child. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So the medication might just be pushed back because, you need it, but
then the child ends up in the hospital.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And these are things that we need to do. We need to create like a disability registry list because we know that, hey, I could check this list and I know that this person is a person with disability. you know? And so you provide that. All of those should have been put under the universal health care system, but nothing.
Yeah, too slow. Too slow.
And I'm not blaming, as you see, I'm calling it as, it's where we started.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Because the ministers, and I'm going to say it, the ministers, I don't care if it's Labour, PLP, PAM, CCM, NRP, any one of them out there, any one of them, they leave the country and go and get their medical treatment.
They don't understand the struggle. They don't understand the struggle.
They go out.
They don't, and if their child is sick, they can send them out.
Right. They can send them out.
And that is part
their
of the
family
problem.
Because they're covered. They are covered. But the poor people aren't covered.
They make a phone call and the air ambulance reach.
Right. And the poor people are not covered. And the poor people are not seeing this. Love yourself. Love yourself.
I love that. I love that because we often call on politicians to care. I say it all the time, We need our politicians to care. But you are actually putting the onus on the general population to care for yourself.
To love
so
yourself.
If you see that Mr. X don't care about you, why are you voting for Mr. X?
You don't care about me and my children. I don't care about you either.
Exactly.
You either do what I vote you in
because
to do, come out.
Because this is democracy, not royalty. It's not a dynasty.
Of course, Jamie.
Let's take one or two more calls before we wrap up.
Okay, let's take this one. Good afternoon. You're live.
Good afternoon, Jamie. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Very well. Jamie, I want to welcome the sister into the political arena. I truly want to welcome her. We need more people.
And we need more women.
But but we need more choices too.
Yes.
We need good things. But Jenny, I was going to ask her a question. Then I said, no, I'm going to ask Nubian. And I changed my mind, but I want to ask you, Jamie.
Me, man, the politician here. What you mean?
Yeah, but that's why I say we want more choices.
Yes. Okay.
These people people does be talking, politicians, they get in this sway of things. But Jamie, I want to ask you, when they get elected, what has changed them?
I don't know.
Because all these things, I heard them before. And I'm hearing it every day. But as they get into political office, it changed.
Okay, so Natasha is going to answer you.
You're going to answer? Okay.
Natasha is going to answer you because I don't know.
But you realize it too, eh?
But my opinion, this is my opinion. I feel like people don't really change. And I don't feel like people change. I feel like people pretend to be a particular way until they're in the position to show their true colors.
So we should change them every time they operate that way. Thank you, Jamie.
Yep. Okay. So, Natasha?
Yeah, I was going to say that, yes, it's the person's heart. The Bible says that everything comes from the heart. Envy, strife, hatred, maliciousness, greed, covetousness, it comes from the heart. And sometimes when people show you who they are, you need to believe. Because we sometimes know who they are and we just say, oh, well, maybe he ain't some man, and we make excuses. And so when they go in, we don't hold them accountable. We think that we make them feel like they are demigods and they're untouchable. And we don't want to move them because we are so loyal to them. We're not loyal to ourselves. And so the heart is dirty before. It's just waiting for something to manifest and to show itself because it's dirty. You see? And so I was telling somebody, people don't like Jesus. They like Barabbas. They don't want Jesus. They want bad people in there. So, and we put them inside there. And we put them inside there to trample us. Instead of saying, listen, let's inquire of the Lord. Let's ask God for discernment of spirit because this person is not so, just by his actions. So the heart is the problem. Just like the Bible said, the money is good, but the love of money is the root of all evil. So the love of power without humility is the root of all evil too. So that heart is already dirty. It's just waiting for power and other things to corrupt it and money.
Mm-hmm. Yes. There are some people who are of the view that absolute power corrupts.
Yes.
But it corrupts the corruptible.
Yes.
You have to be corruptible to begin with.
Your heart, yes.
Right? Let's take this final call. I don't like to take final calls, you know.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Of St. Kitts and Nevis. Yes. The problem is, right, as you all said, the greed. You all in line the greed because check it out. Soon as Labour gone in, you realize how much salary raise they take, and they didn't even start to work yet in the country. They make so much promises about water. No Unity don't disrespect the people them with water. Give them all kind of top, them big drum there, and they never come back and finish them. Put them up so people could catch water. See what coming right now? Rain. Play with agriculture. We got the machine them here, the truck them here, workers here. How much youth man done with school well wanna work? We could just go in the grass and learn how to dig water. We did the same water people. Watch the high school. They could have done finish the high school them long time, hospital. We got the workers. You hear what they're talking about? Bringing workers and bringing parts, school parts and them nonsense. When we got workers here, we got Trinidad here, we got Jamaicans, we got the whole fleet of workers here. Who build the big bank? Who build Port Zante? We and foreigners come together and build them place there. So what we waiting on? The politicians, them playing, man. They're playing. So me want to say people really going to sit down and watch all this nonsense happening and nobody going to stand up. Look at what we got again right now, a virus. What they want to come give us now, a vaccine. How much people going to stand up and take the vaccine to die out again? For what? Wait for much children ban? No, man, we got to get serious. We're talking about money here and health, you know, people. We got all the bush them here. Where the labs them? They're thinking about building masks and all kind of nonsense. And we got the necessities here, to build labs, science labs, so we could get with one medicines, because we got the bush them. Yeah, what are we doing? Talking can help. People, you're going to get a revolution in the place, you know. Talking cannot help. Trust me, these politicians need to stop their shoppiness and playing with poor people's life, man. We're working hard out here. You think, we're supposed to be getting current blackout and they don't rent generator to push the whole country? When we're supposed to get our own energy to push the country ourselves? We're playing around. We're supposed to be bringing in food and we got food, yeah. Let me build a food boat and put on the party boat. Let's stop play people. Samuel, you need to get this agriculture thing serious. Farmers is not supposed to be killing up themselves out to get water on farm. My brethren, and we got trucks that park up, we could dig hole. We got to get serious, brethren. Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. That's our... Okay, so somebody else is trying to get in. I'm going to squeeze in this final call. I hope I don't regret it. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller.
Yes, you will regret it and you will regret it. 2 in 1. It's a good show. I welcome the young lady, in the political arena. I love to hear her. It sounds good. As what's his name from Nevis said, these are things we hear over and over, where people passionate, and it's like they can't do nothing when they get in, you know. But I pray it may not be so. Nobian, you there, Nobian?
Yeah, man, I'm right here. Go ahead.
Wonderful. I like to hear the voice, you know. Yeah. I went to a certain business place the other day, and I listened, you hear, and what the accent, Spanish. I went to TDC, and I'm on a call, and about 2 or 3 of the cashiers, foreign accent. I asked them where they're from, bam, bam, they tell me. I went to another business place, and next to the people, foreigners. So I'm asking, where are the criticians, the young men who often meet you and say, Nubian things rough with me? Where are they? Where are they? I'm seeing foreigners doing that work. I am. Even in construction, I've seen it. And I can invite you. I'm a young man like to be up and down. So we could go together and we just take note. Because this is something, this seems to be serious. It seems to me that telling me that something wrong. It's either some kind of lazy spirit or they don't want to work. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that the government should not play the part, as you all rightfully say. But a lot of it too is that something work there and they don't want no work. It's a fact. It's a fact. Going in those business places, not just one, not just two, not just three, but I'm telling you, I'm seeing all those foreigners working. You want to tell me kitty sons to can't get work too? Enjoy yourself. Right.
Thank you, caller, for that contribution. But I have a question. I don't know, but is it that because we are speaking about foreigners in these job places, and they're not seeing local faces, as the caller puts it? Is it that we are not preparing our young people for work? Is it that there is a serious disconnect between the education system and the world of work? How are we so comfortable calling our people lazy?
It is. Listen, right? And I saw this policeman the other day. Well, maybe if he's a police, it's probably a little security guard. Put a whole long video about
he's a police
work ethics, and in part, he is a little bit correct, but it speaks to the bigger question that you ask: are we preparing our children in the educational system for the world of work?
Because remember, he spoke about people speaking with a Spanish accent, right? Mm-hmm. He spoke about that. Do you recognize that the education system, let's say in Cuba speaks Spanish, is completely different to the education system here?
Correct.
Majority of the Cubans you find come to St. Kitts to look for work, even though some of them may be doing like simple jobs. Majority of them are university educated, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe these people are being better prepared where they're coming from. Maybe the problem is us.
It is the preparation. It is, and it's multifaceted. It is the preparation one, and the second thing is when you have a child or when you have a young man who is a mason, and because I know masons who later on in life became contractors because they started running blocks and then they figured out how to tie a couple steel and they build on a bathroom for somebody, and then later on they might build a half a hog head, then later on they could build a 2-bedroom house, and gradually they became small contractors. Mm-hmm. When you're going to look at the larger contractors who still hustling to build a low-income house, and you have large projects that the larger contractors won't be able to get, we as a nation turn them into liabilities because they won't be able to venture out to St. Kitts to build, like those folks that build in the Bastia High School. Let's say they wanted to build one in Antigua. You believe anybody from St. Kitts could go and bid on that project in Antigua? The people from Barbados can say, hey, listen, the government of St. Kitts ain't had the confidence to let nobody else build it in St. Kitts or Sisu build it, so give us the job out there. So if there's a CDB project, if there's any project out there on the international scene, we come last. We won't be able to do it. And we don't create the space for our youths to go and come into contractors, whether it be electrical, plumbing, whatever. And that is where we need to provide those opportunities for our children. So the youngsters now looking at that become disenchanted with what's going on because you can't see a future, you can't see it, and if your parents ain't coming and pushing that energy on you, saying, look, come, let's follow your dream. Come, let's follow your passion. Come, let's go here and let's go there. And it's dependent upon the school or a system. Our youths can always fall through the crack. Always fall through the crack.
I am going to add something because I did mention earlier that they're not exposed. And why I say they're not exposed? Because there are different requirements in different countries. No, none of us here could take up ourselves as a contractor and go in the United States of America or England because the requirements are different. It is different.
Yes,
the work ethics are different, and the standard is different. You must be a licensed everything. A licensed contractor, a licensed plumber, a licensed this, a licensed electrician. You must be a licensed. So when we are here to work at St. Kitts standard. We can't go out there in the United States of America to work. You have to start over. You have to go back to school. Mm-hmm. They will tell you that you have to go back to school and you have to learn their way. Because their way are higher than ours. And how we do things here, they
opinion.
don't. No. But you see, it's who is accredited.
Right. The accreditation is what counts.
It's who they're going to give that money, because when we bid, say for example we were to bid, as Nubian said, who's going to come? Who's going to take somebody from St. Kitts? Mm-hmm. And that is why I said our people need the exposure out there so that they could come back and do the right thing, because that is who they accept. Marriott would accept somebody from Jamaica. Look at it. Go over Royal St. Kitts. You see how much foreigners over there, Haitians, Jamaicans, Spanish, working, Chinese. They will put up a building. The Mexican, put up the building in no time. Work ethics, speed, flawlessness. I'm not saying anybody's perfect, but I have been exposed studying in America and stuff like that. Even they would tell us, Jamie, you would be there. They would say, hey, you have to go and do American English because British English is different. Yes. So I'm going to end now. But I'm just saying that we have to expose our people to other things and other ways of doing things so that they could be marketable. You could take it and go anywhere around the Caribbean because they can do the same thing. So that's why I'm saying that the carry, and I'm going to hit something, that CARICOM is only for the CARICOM big islands. Yes, I'm going to say that. Why not open your doors, say, hey, let our small St. Kitts people come to Barbados. They have technical colleges. Barbados has technical colleges. Jamaica has technical colleges. Why not open your door, since each one build one? Each one build one. How is it going to have a strong Caribbean community when we down here at the lower end and your people come to our end? Because they're coming with everything that we need. And so that is why, we would say, they're lazy. The education system, they're lazy, Sometimes they are. I'm going to call it as it is. They are. They could. Your environment does not determine you. When I had to go in the cane field with my mother, I could have stayed in the cane field. I said, boy, I know you're here too hard. I got to make sure I learn my lesson. So I push myself. Sometimes you have to push yourself. You have to want better. Nobody's going to give it to you. You have to fight for it. And so I tell my students, fight for it and come better than Miss Daniel, otherwise I can blows you. And you see how much doctors and lawyers and nurses and plumbers and stuff. And I would tell them, whatever you do, do it at your best, because you don't know who you're looking at. So if we are to encourage and motivate our young people, then, as I tell my boys them, and I'm going to be frank, yes, you could smoke your weed, but you're going to do something else. And if you're planting weed, make sure you're making money that you can build your house and see a future. Because when you're 60 and 70, don't make no sense go mountain, go plant weed. I mean, you're wasting your time and you're making Miss Daniel embarrass.
And on that note, that is how we're going to end Hot Topics for this afternoon. A very hot, a very vibrant program this afternoon.
Even though you say it's the last call, the phone's still going off, but we're going. That's the last one.
The last call. Yes. Listen, and I'm thankful that the last call today wasn't, some of those last calls that we get.
Right.
Where people alter timing, off topic, everything.
Yes. Right. Yeah. But it was a spirited discussion today, and more the discussion needs to be had, because there is those issues that we need to get resolved. And a lot of it starts in how we educate and how we prepare our children for the future. And it is critically important for us to make sure that our children are in the correct space, the correct environment to face this tough future ahead. And everybody should glad for somebody like Natasha Daniel leading the charge, whether it be in education or in agriculture or in healthcare. I know you do number 8 well, and just waiting for the change so that you could implement a lot of what is needed.
It is time for us to build and rebuild, because we have to build and we have to rebuild some of these areas, these weak areas, to provide the opportunities for other people. And this is where I step in, because I love to build. I've been building mines for over 20-something years.
Right.
And I love farming. I've been in farming since my father and my grandmother and stuff like that. And because my father was an estate manager, so I'm an estate baby. And so farming and education has always been a love. And so I know that if we're to build these structures, these two structures, farming, education, you have to, I love to say, we educate and we agitate. You have to agitate. I used to come in and say, hey, listen, Miss Daniel, I know everything. Come, hot up my head to students, hot up my head, hot up my head like I'm hotting up your own, So we have to agitate, because Bob Marley said you have to stand up, fight for your rights, stand up, fight, don't give up. Don't give up the fight, because when you do give up, that's it. And so I want to bring a representation to the table, say, hey, don't give up. Right. Don't give up. Because when you give up, that's it. You have to hold on to that anchor, You have to hold on to that anchor. And so we are here now, to rebuild and to build. And that's what I want to do as a mind builder, as a developer, you to push, to motivate, and to encourage. We are architects, we are resilient, and we both stayed bad. And we can get it done.
Right.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I would want to, because agriculture is a topic that I believe needs a bit more fleshing out. I know you're just starting, you're going to have a very, very, very big, busy schedule.
She has the largest
constituency, correct. And I would want us to delve a bit more on what agriculture can mean for our economy, and what agriculture can mean as it pertains to giving opportunities to our young people. Because a lot of times we look at our farmers around here and they are not successful as they should be. Because they're missing some elements, they're missing some pieces. And I want us to also have a discussion on what a SIMACO type infrastructure can do to help promote sustainable farming, keep the farmers on the farm, and let SIMACO worry about, or a SIMACO type industry worry about the sales and all of that. I don't want us to get into it now, but I would want
I just about to tell you, you're starting another
right. I would want us to come back and delve into it, because I believe even outside of food security, we can have our youths in agriculture and do well.
We can.
And do well.
And there's so many ideas.
Yes, there are
so
lots
many
of
avenues.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just have to clean up the whole backyard. Yes, we're going to clean up the backyard before we come to the front.
Yes.
Yes, so Nubian and I would like to say happy International Nurses Day.
Correct, yes.
And we also want to, ask persons to take all the necessary precautions out there about the hantavirus.
Yes.
Because we don't want an outbreak and to lose anybody. We love our people and we care about their health. And so we just want to say, just take precautions, listen, read up, and stay current.
Yeah.
Okay.
Information is key.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Hot Topics for this week, and be sure to join us next week, Tuesday, for another interesting episode.
Mama say, be careful the choices you make. the sound.
I told you, baby.
Freedom FM.
Stress, pressure, life's challenges affect us all. But together, we can take a powerful step towards healing. Join the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis for their mental health walk run on Saturday, 16th May, starting at the Figgy Bay Lawn. We will move for our mind and run for resilience at 4:30 a.m. sharp. Every package bought helps fund the SKN Mental Health Education Grant, supporting future mental health professionals. Register today at